Welcome back to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, the place where poetry meets conversation. I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that plus sign so you don't miss an episode. Also, please subscribe to my blog, thebrownssugarcafe.blog, and if you find any value in this episode or any other episodes, make sure you leave a heartfelt review. So with that being said, let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I hope that you all are doing well. Happy Women's History Month. And we have a special guest. This is not her first time on the show. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. I am Nicole. I am the hands behind It's Clay, by the way.
Thank you for joining us. For those of you who are not familiar, this is my lovely wife. She's been on the show before, and it's been a while since I had her on to talk about It's Clay, by the way. So how have you been?
I've been doing good. I've been well. I'm here, excited about this new year, excited about Women's History Month.
That is awesome. So what has transpired with It's Clay, by the way, since the last time you've been on?
Since the last time I was on, I've had my earrings featured in the International African American Museum in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes.
Also was able to get my pieces over to Whitney Sullivan, news anchor here, WLTX. So every now and again, she wears them on the broadcast. Every time I see her, I'm just like, oh, that's It's Clay, by the way.
Yes.
Also, my family, we went to the Family Feud the first time. We didn't win, and then we were invited to come back. We didn't win the first time.
Right.
But we were invited to come back. And when we came back, our episode aired January of this year, and we won. Come on, Lucas family.
Congratulations.
Charleston, South Carolina.
Congratulations. And
thank you.
Your earrings made an appearance on that show as well.
My earrings made an appearance on the Family Feud. So those are some major things that has been happening with This Clay, by the way, since the last time I was on.
Some exciting stuff. For those who are not familiar, could you tell us what It's Clay, by the way, is in your mission statement, I guess?
Well, It's Clay, by the way, is a woman-owned business, and I make handmade polymer clay earrings. I mostly make like bold statement pieces every now and again. It depends, if I'm doing a vendor event, I make them a little, smaller or whatever, but I really like bold, bright statement pieces. And I just, I love making them. I love when, I see a female in the earrings and just boost of confidence and just to see the joy on their face when they wear them and they share it with others.
These earrings, they're very dope. They have a lot of color, a lot of style, and polymer clay. I remember when you were telling me about that, I'm just like, what is polymer clay? Because, I was thinking it was like the clay, when we were kids
From
playing
the
in the dirt. And yeah. So let's go. Yeah. What is polymer clay?
Polymer clay is just like, it kind of reminds you a little of Play-Doh, but it's like a clay is very easy to work with. It's easily manipulated and it's very lightweight once it's baked. And also it keeps its color and it's just this vibrancy of, the clay.
Okay. And how did you get started with making earrings? And why did you decide to use polymer clay? I know I've seen different craft makers, they make earrings and sometimes they use wood, and I've seen metal. I don't know what type of metal it is, but metal, that sort of thing. But what made you lean towards polymer clay?
Well, I first got started, what made me start making the earrings is because I've always loved accessories. Ever since I was younger, I always loved accessorizing like outfits because I feel that, your accessories can really make your outfits pop. And I mean, one time before, I would think I was probably in my 20s, I started making earrings for a little bit, but they were out of feathers. Never did anything with it, just made a couple of pairs, shared it with like my family, my cousins. It just ended there. I never did anything else. And once the pandemic hit, I spent more time like on social media, just looking at different crafts and different things that, that I may be interested in. And I started seeing like a lot of makers with these earrings. And I was, reading the description of it. It said polymer clay. And I was like, what in the world is polymer clay? And so I did my own research and I started, researching a polymer clay. And I went to Michael's, purchased a couple of blocks, brought them home, and I attempted to make my first few pairs of earrings. And I just was like, yeah, this is definitely not what these makers that I'm following. They can't be making these. So I then ordered some pieces from makers because I wanted to see myself. And once I ordered a pair from Exo Bougie. At the time, she does acrylic earrings now, but at that time she was doing polymer clear earrings. And just once I got my first pair, and also from Mandy Maddie's, once I got my first pair of earrings, I just was so amazed that this was actual clay and be made into, these beautiful pieces. That's what got me interested in it. So I just kept at it and just kept practicing, making different pairs. And I started making them to the point that once I was wearing them, people were asking me, like, oh, wow, where'd you get your earrings and stuff like that. And so after that, I decided to start selling them because I was offered, people started offering to purchase them. So that's how I got started.
So with those first couple of pairs, and
Yes.
you said, "Oh no."
Yeah.
What made you say, "Oh no" with those first couple of pairs, and what made you keep going?
Because my first couple of pairs, they were rough. I didn't have like any tools really that I needed. I just went off some stuff that I saw online. I was like, well, I'll get this, I'll get that. I purchased some little metal cutters right there from Michael's, a couple of blocks of clay and a rolling pin. And I came home and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. At the time, I didn't have like a clay maker, like a pasta maker to kind of smooth it out. So I'm just at the table, just rolling, 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 thinking
Yeah.
I'm knowing what I'm doing. And yeah, once they baked and they came out, but I still was like, well, it's not that bad. And I didn't want to give up on this because I just really enjoyed doing it. So I just like, I'll just keep working at it.
Do you have any of your earlier pieces that you would like to share?
I do. So these right here are my very first pair of earrings that I made, my clay earrings. They're very uneven. They're very thick. I don't know if you can see that. They're very thick
Yeah.
and they're not smooth. They're all, yeah, these weren't a good thing. So those were my first pairs. And then these were another pair that I made it maybe probably like a month or so down the line. And as you can see, we're getting a little better here. At the time, I did not have a Dremel. I didn't have a drill. So I was doing everything by hand, just trying to punch holes for my jump rings and stuff like that. So these were another pair that I made early on in starting my Clay by the Way journey.
For those of you who can't see, I know this about you. You're very particular about things being straight and neat.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And those aren't the straightest.
Mm-mm.
They're very beautiful, but they aren't the straightest.
No, they weren't.
What I want to know is, so you said you were punching the holes in there. I don't know if I'm using the right term, punching, but you were putting the holes in there
Mm-hmm.
by hand and then you got a drill. Was it something you saw that let you know that you needed a drill instead? Or did you notice from the beginning and you thought, hey, I can do this with just, something to pierce it?
No, just following other makers. Just, thankfully a lot of the makers that I did follow, I even reached out to a couple just for some advice and, some knowledge of different things. But thankfully a lot of makers share like their process
Mm.
and they share their tools and the things that you can use to help or make things easier, especially if you're just starting off with jewelry making. So just by me just watching some of the makers videos and Google. Google was a good friend when it came to wanting to start making earrings because it told you what type of tools that you needed. And the first drummer that I had was, I think, like a battery operated. And the only thing with that, it would lose charge. So
Yeah.
I would have to wait for it to charge up a while before I could, continue making pieces. So then I invested in a corded Dremel. And yeah, I think what I learned when I first started is that I need to invest. Like, if it's something that you love doing and it's like become a passion and something that you desire and you really want to do, it takes you investing in your craft. So that's what I began to do. I started investing in the tools that I needed. I started investing with putting time aside to look at videos if there was different things, different techniques that I wanted to learn. It's about investing and putting that time in to hone in on your gift, to hone in on your craft.
That is very important, investing in yourself. And you said something that I think a lot of people don't think of, especially starting off. They think that, well, I'm not at this level yet. So
Hmm.
what I have is good enough. Maybe when I get to a certain level, then I can buy all these different things. But you are serious about the products that you put out. And so you
Yeah.
wanted the best materials. And
Yeah.
I like how you said you even took time to actually research and watch videos on how to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're constantly working on your craft and you're trying to get better and better. And sometimes people lose sight of that. They feel like because your earrings were in the museum, like
Yes.
the
Yes, they
museum,
were. Yeah.
easy for you to get comfortable because it's like, hey, my earrings weren't in the museum, but you're still working on your craft. You're
Yeah.
still finding new ways because your pieces. And if you're listening to this, I have some stuff on my Instagram to show off the pieces, and we'll get into that stuff later. But like your pieces are really dope, and I'm not just saying that because I'm your husband. There's some really dope pieces like the shapes, the different shapes, and the different colors. And one of the things that I find that was fascinating, so when you were showing me these things, right, and the different colors, I thought that the people were actually painting the different pieces of clay, but they're actually like different pieces of clay rolled together to create a particular pattern. When it comes to deciding on a pattern that you want to make, well, I guess now that's not really a difficult question because you've been doing it so long. You pretty much. So I was just saying when you first started
Hmm.
trying to create a particular pattern with these multiple pieces of clay. How difficult was that? And did you get discouraged?
No, I didn't get discouraged. It wasn't difficult. And let me just say this, like, you do have some makers that they actually, some just get like solid color clay, like maybe a cream or a white, and they actually do paint. Like, that's their thing. They will paint and then usually coat it with some type of protective coating. And that's how they get their, different designs or whatever with their pieces. As far as the design, the clay does what the clay does,
Mm.
like in certain ways that you can roll and certain techniques that you use to get like certain patterns, but for the most part the clay is going to do what it does. And you'd be so surprised because you could take like two or three colors, cut it up, make your slab, and once you cut that first slice, every time you cut it's going to be some type of different design on it.
Mm.
Every piece is different. And that's another thing that I love so much about working with polymer clay, because it's just limitless. Like, you can do so much with it, you know? So far as like the designs, like now, if there's a particular design that I do want, it's just different techniques that you use to get those designs. Like these ones right here, these are more just like a stripe. So that's just me using like black and white clay and just stacking them on top of each other and just cutting straight. No twisting, no, combining and putting them together. And that's how I came up with this, just, the lines or whatever. But for the most part, the clay is going to do what the clay is going to do.
I like that. The clay is going to do what the clay is going to do.
It is.
Hey.
It is. When you have somebody who like tie dyes and
Yes.
they put like different, all this paint and all these colors in this bowl or whatever, and then they dip it in there, and whatever that design is, what they pull it out. The paint did what it was supposed to do. That's just like how it is with the clay. It's just going to do what it's supposed to do.
Wow. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. So you talked about seeing different designers share how they were creating their different pieces and techniques and that sort of thing. Do you have any plans to have maybe a channel showing where you're doing your techniques or a workshop maybe in the future?
In the future, one of my plans I want to kind of try to execute this year is to have a workshop where I invite maybe the first time, maybe about 10 up to 10 ladies
Ooh,
or
yes.
young adults who would like to come in and learn how to make a pair of earrings. Like I would like to do a workshop that shows step by step, supplying the clay, the tools, everything that they need to design and create their first pair of earrings.
Okay.
That's one of my desires I want to do.
When you were telling me that you wanted to do some earrings, I was like, yes, because y'all love earrings. So what is it about earrings that bring the outfits together?
They do their own thing. Like with me, I love like earth tone colors. I love dark colors. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have on something black, something green, like a green color, or just something kind of muted colors or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just my clothing. But my accessories, I love colors. Like I love for my earrings to be colorful. Like I have a drop that I just did. And one of my favorite pairs of earrings that's in this drop are these because of how colorful they are. You could just dress this up. Like if you have on all black or just something solid and you put these on, all the attention is going to be on the earrings because how they're popping. So I think
And
it's important when it comes to, dressing and accessorizing. I think like just your jewelry period makes a difference in your outfits.
I was going to ask you about your new drop, but since we're here, let's talk about that because, like I said, I've seen the progression in your earrings, and I mean, you do some pretty cool stuff with the layering, the different shapes, like I said, but this particular set of pieces of earrings, let me see if I can describe this. It's like almost like petals. Is that a good description?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great description.
Okay, okay. And so it's like three petals together. And what is the centerpiece? Is that
It's just like almost like just a little bud right there. Just like almost like a little button right
okay?
there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, they are three petals, but when I begin to make these, I just saw butterfly wings. I love butterflies. I've always loved butterflies. And when the petal look is something that I wanted to do for so long, the first couple of times I tried it was a flop. So I kind of backed off from trying to even put them together. And then I think the end of last year, I tried it again and I liked how they came out. So I started, just creating some petals. In every drop, I usually have something different, but this particular drop, just like I said, I call it the butterfly, my
Yeah.
butterfly drop because the pieces remind me of butterfly wings.
They do. They remind me of butterfly wings too.
Yeah. And so these are, see, they just look like butterfly wings to me.
Yeah. Those are
So
those are really cool. Um,
thank you.
man. So this new drop that's available now, everyone, they're available, and we'll get you the information to buy the earrings will be in the show description. But this new drop, you said that, the inspiration was butterflies. Of all the different drops you've had, do you have a favorite or they're all your babies?
They're all my
I knew you
babies.
were going to say that.
They're all my babies. Like each drop that I do, I just like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
This right here. This is the one. This is the one. But then another idea will come, and then once I start creating those, I'm like, oh no, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. I do have like different ladies, different I don't want to call them like customers because I see them more than customers.
We got to
And I have
find
to,
another name
yeah,
for
I
them.
have to find a new name. But
Yeah.
the ladies who shop with me, they will message me and tell me like this right here, this is my favorite drop. Like 2 drops I did before my cousin Chanel. She got like almost every pair out of that particular drop because it was juicy fruit the ones that I had that looked like fruits, the
Yeah.
different color fruits, like the lemon lime and blueberries and grapes. Like she got almost all the pieces out of that drop because she told me, she said, Luke, this is my favorite drop. So I appreciate everybody who, purchase and who have their favorites. I appreciate it because it encourages me to just like keep on creating.
To anybody who is thinking about starting something, I always tell them to just start. You're an inspiration to my listeners. You're an inspiration to me because you wanted to do something, you started. And when it didn't turn out how you wanted it to turn out, you didn't just like, you know what, this wasn't for me. You did some research and you was like, you saw that I need better tools. I need to invest in myself. I need to make these changes and then I can keep going. And I love that about you just in general. It's just like, nah, I don't think these earrings are for me. No, it wasn't like that. He was like, hey, I know that I can do this. I just need to figure out how to do it. Like, where do you get that resilience from when it comes to like certain things where it would kind of deter some people, but like when you're set on something, you're set on it. So, what made you keep going with the earrings?
Well, let me say this. I haven't always been like this. Okay. When back in my younger days, I would pick things up and I would drop them right back down as fast as I picked them up. Because if something didn't work or seemed like it wasn't working, I just stopped.
That's a
I
lot of
quit.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't consistent with anything like when it came to just exploring that creative side of me or whatever. My resilience comes from because I knew what God told me when I started with this. Just like I said, I love photography. So one of the things that I wanted to do was flat lay
Oh,
photography
I remember
because
that. Yeah.
I like putting outfits and stuff together, just things like that. So my thing was I was going to do the flat lays. I was going to purchase the earrings and purchase different pieces of jewelry from makers. And I was going to put it together with outfits and do like flat lay photography just to showcase that. And so I did start ordering some of the pieces, just like I said, from different makers, and I was putting it together. Never shared any of the flat lays. I may have shared one on TikTok, but I never shared the stuff that I came up with. And I never forget when God said, "Hey, this is something that you can do." And I was like, I can do this. He was like, you love accessories, you love creating, you love making. This is something that you can do. And once I got that word, I stuck with it because I trust him and I believe him. And he just was like, hey, go with me on this one. I got you. Just go with me. And so even when it came to the name, because I was like, okay, God, you giving me this idea. Like, okay, I'm doing this, starting to create these pieces. But now, what am I going to call it? And I had different names, Sweet Ladies. I wanted to dedicate it to my mother. And my mother didn't even wear jewelry, you know what I'm saying? But still, I wanted it just all these things I have. I'm going to
Right.
do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And even with getting the name, I remember when I was just in the house, I was talking to you and saying that, lately a lot of people has been every time they say something,
Yes.
every time they say something to me, it's like, hey, nice dress, by the way. Hey, I love your hair, by the way. Oh, hey, that is a cute photo, by the way. I was like, why do people end stuff with the by the way? And then I was like, it should be it's Clay, by the way. And at that moment, it was like I felt that thing in my spirit, like, that's it. And I
Yeah.
looked at you and I said, Terrence, it's Clay, by the way. And you was like, yeah, it's Clay, by the way.
Yeah.
And even with that, I believe that God has his hands all inside of this business. And I just trust him. And I just know that if I continue to trust him and have faith and believe what it is that he said that he's going to do just that. So I'm excited.
Hey, I was just thinking about that conversation because you were so right. It was just like back to back. It was
I
like
mean, just
back to back.
I mean, I did a photo shoot for my birthday. with Trinise. Shout out
Yes.
to Your World on Film, my sister. I did a photo shoot with her, and that whole food photo shoot, I had on some bell bottom jeans. Hey, I like your jeans, by the way. Oh gosh, that is so dope, by the way. And it just seems like
Yes.
every person I came in contact with during that 1 month period was by the way, by the way. And it was just like, why do they keep saying by the way? And I just was like, it's Clay, by the way. And that's how we came up with It's Clay, by the way.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You mentioned photography
Yeah.
and how you love photography. Those flat lays you were doing were pretty dope, but
Mm.
you do the product pictures for your website. You take some really dope pictures, and I'm not gonna give away how you do it, but it if y'all saw how she did these pictures, y'all wouldn't believe. So what I want to know is, I know you get enjoyment from making the pieces, but when you do the product photos, do you get that same sort of enjoyment, or is it a different type of enjoyment?
It's about the same because I like when it comes together. And like if I have an idea and I execute it and it comes out like how I saw it, it's just like, yeah, this is it. This is it. And I know, just like you said, if I share with them, because it's been times you've come upstairs and like, oh, okay.
Right.
But yeah, I really enjoy just I just enjoy I enjoy taking the pictures of the product or whatever. And right now I'm still doing all of that on my iPhone. So
Hey, these are good phones.
hey, it's a good phone, it's a good camera. And I'm still doing all of that on there. And so eventually I am going to make another investment inside of It's Clay by the Way for It's Clay by the Way. And I am going to purchase a camera because one of my desires is to start shooting my products with different women, just modeling my pieces. So I have so much like ideas of where I want to take It's Clay by the Way. So this is the year to execute.
Okay, so can you share any of those ideas with us, or is it too early?
No, I can. One of the ideas and one of the desires that I have is to have Is Clay by the Way be featured on a runway. Like I
Ooh,
want to connect with the stylists and have my pieces be like a collaboration with their what you call it?
designs, I guess.
Yeah, with their designs. Thank you. With their designs, and I want to collab and see. I want to see Is Clay by the Way on the runway, or in magazines doing photo shoots. Doing like magazine spreads. That's what I want for Is Clay by the Way.
Well, hey, you are on the way
Mm.
sooner than later. I see it sooner than
Thank
later.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I got 5 questions for you, and I got this idea from Danny Foxworth of since we last spoke.
Oh,
I'm laughing because you always say, well, you always call it since the last time I
the
saw
last
you.
time, yeah, since the last time I saw you,
Okay.
Danny. I know the name of your podcast. Okay.
Shout out to Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite pair of sneakers?
My favorite pair of sneakers is New Balance 9060s. They're so
Specific.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really found out about New Balance a few years ago. And I purchased my first pair of 9060s about 2 years ago.
Mm.
And listen, the best,
Yeah.
the best. So yeah, New Balance, definitely my favorite pair.
All right. So we love seafood. If you had to make a choice to only eat one type of seafood for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Blue crabs, baby. Blue crabs all
How did
day.
I know you were going to say that?
Hey man, I'm a true Charlestonian. Blue crabs. I'm a Benya. Blue crabs, baby. Yes.
What's the last thing made you laugh?
The question you just asked me.
That's fair.
Yeah. That question you just asked me, it made me laugh.
Okay. What's some advice you would give your younger self?
Oh, my younger self. My gosh, younger Nikki. Some advice I would give her. I would tell her that It's okay to not fit in. It's okay to not go with the crowd. I'm an only child. So, I mean, I was very close with my cousins and stuff growing up, but for the most part, I did a lot of stuff by myself. And a lot of times, being younger, it was like, dang, I wish, I could have this and, have a brother or have a sister and have that bond. But thank God for my family. Thank God for my cousins. Thank God for my aunts, my uncle. Thank God for my parents that made it so, and thank God for my friends that made it so that I never really felt alone. So, I mean, I would tell my younger self that, hey, it's okay. You don't have to run in a crowd. You good by yourself. And you got this. You got this. You are stronger than what you think. And you can do the hard things.
Mm.
You can do the hard things.
Well, that's four. That was such a good
Yeah.
answer. I don't even want to ask the fifth one. It's because it's kind of trivial.
Come on. What's the fifth one?
Ice cream or milkshakes?
Mm. Oh, that's tricky. Oh, that's a tricky situation.
Right?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite type of ice
Butter
cream?
pecan and chocolate all day. That's what I'm going to get.
Which is pretty good together. I'm so glad you put me on to that. Our first date, we went to
Yes.
get some ice cream, and he was like, butter pecan and chocolate. And I was together. He was like, yeah,
Yes.
get one scoop of
Yes.
each, and I have become a fan. So, hey,
And you bringing up that first date, just real quick. I remember it was at Ye Old Fashioned
yes,
in Goose Creek.
yes.
And we were in there sitting down eating ice cream, and there was a group of people playing spades.
No, it was Uno.
Uno. They were playing Uno.
Yes,
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell them that you want to play. And you just kept saying, no, don't do that. Do not do that. I said, yeah, I think you want to play. I think you want to play. You're going to, yes, you do. And I got up and I act like I was walking to the table and I went and got us some more napkins.
that was so bad. I
Wasn't that good?
no, because like I was just like, I can't believe she about to tell these people. And then what if they're my mind was going like, what if they're excited about me joining and
And
now I'm gonna
yeah,
have to play. I mean, I love Uno, so it's not like I'm gonna tell them no, but it's just like, where is this going? But yeah, that
it
was
would have been
good.
so good. It would have been so
Yeah,
good. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was a good memory.
It was. So before I let you get out of here, let the people know how they can follow you, how they can, most importantly, how they can purchase your earrings and any other information you want to share.
Okay, well, my website is Clay by the Way Square site. You can purchase earrings through there. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook under It's Clay by the Way. I do drops. I try to do them monthly, but you can always DM me, reach out to me, especially if I do a drop in. Maybe it's a specific color that you're wanting in earrings. I do custom pairs. If you have an order and you need clip-ons, you can shoot me a DM, you can message me and just let me know that you made a purchase, but you would like them in clip-ons. And if they can be converted, we'll convert them into clip-ons and everything. But yeah, you can follow me on It's Clay by the Way, Instagram and Facebook. I'm going to try this year. I'm really going to push myself this year to do more on TikTok. Really.
Mm,
But it's a lot just keeping up with that Instagram and Facebook and just getting content together for those two. But I'm gonna push myself to getting on TikTok this year more.
okay. Hey. Well, everyone, you heard it. The link will be in the show description. Go to the Instagram, the Facebook, and order. I want to thank you, D. Nicole from Miss Clay, by the way, for being my guest and taking time out to hang out with us. We really
Hey,
appreciate you.
thank you, T from the Brown Sugar Cafe. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me back on the show another time. I feel
Yes.
so honored. Thank you. Thank you.
And to my listeners, as always, remember, keep pushing forward. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and this is the place where poetry meets conversation. Hit that follow button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an episode. Check out my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. Also connect with me on Instagram at thebrownsugarcafe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, remember, keep pushing forward.